5, 4, 3, 2. What's the next number?
It's 1.
1. Who's that little voice back there?
It's me.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good morning. Welcome to Relevant Bible Talk. This is our YouTube channel. We are here. And
Did you just do that whole welcome to our YouTube channel?
yeah, why? I'm trying to be a YouTuber.
Oh my God. Stop it.
Yes, we're here. The dream team is here. Guys, she's home. She's home! So, she's laying down right here on the couch. And God is faithful, man. You know? I don't want to... I want to be like super excited that God is faithful. But as I was gonna start the video, I think that's insensitive because some people don't come home. And what, God isn't faithful to them? That's not right. You know what I mean? This is a serious thing, a serious topic, you know. And as you guys know, you know, I've been saying it over and over that Sharon went in for a completely different reason. And before they even admit her to the hospital, they did a COVID test. It was negative because or else they wouldn't take you. Because they, you know how they moved her from Dameron Hospital to Doctor's Hospital. And all of a sudden, 9 days later, she's about to be released to a rehabilitation center and they require a COVID test. Didn't think nothing of it. Nurses didn't think nothing of it. They're like, yeah, you just got to take a test, but go ahead and get your bags ready. It comes out she's positive. And then they stick her in I have to leave, I can't visit no more, and then they stick her into the COVID area. But what happened was I tossed and turned all night, man. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't sleep for nothing. Like I hardly got sleep. I think I tried to sleep around midnight. And then 2 o'clock, my eyes are still open. And then I think I finally fell asleep. And then my eyes woke up I woke up at 4. And you happened to call me right at 4, which was weird. Because I was just laying there like...
You're like, how did you know I was awake?
Yeah, that was weird. And then I fell asleep again a little bit. And it was just a rough night. I couldn't sleep. And then you called me in the morning. 8:30 or 7:30?
7:30.
Yeah. And basically they weren't listening to her, guys. She was telling the nurse a few things, asking about certain things. They weren't saying nothing. Like once you're in that COVID area, you're on your own. If you survive, it's because you survived, not because anybody helped you. You know, and you know, and I'm sure in a few days you'll be better to talk about it, about your experience. I don't want to butcher it because I think it's so rich of what you were saying, your experience there. And basically that your eyes were opened to a lot of things that you didn't realize. And I don't want to take that story from her. So I'm just going to hold off so you can share it. Maybe if you feel better tomorrow or the next day, you know. But I'll say my side is that you called me and told me they weren't listening to you. And what did you ask me to call? You just said call the hospital. They're not listening to me, right?
I said, you're my husband.
Yeah, so I called the hospital. And I do want to share this part because I learned something today, you know, that if a lot of times if you're a patient in a hospital, their sensitivity to your pain is gone because they see people sick in pain all day long. It means nothing if you say you're hurting. It means nothing if you say you need oxygen. It means nothing because everybody needs it, you know. So they become insensitive to it. So I call. I don't even know who I'm calling. I call the hospital number and they answer. They're like, yeah. I say, yeah, I want to talk to somebody. I want to complain. Who am I supposed to talk to? And she goes, well, is it for somebody that's here? I said, yeah, And then they said, well, what? I said, I don't know who to talk to. All I know is I need to talk to somebody. And she goes, what floor are they on? I said, the floor number. And she goes, well, there's this person. So she gave me a number. Call that number. Nobody answers. I called it twice. I didn't tell you that. Nobody answers. And then the voicemail's full. So I called the hospital again. And I'm like, yeah. I said, this is David Rocha. I just talked to you. She goes, oh, they didn't answer? I said, no, who else can I talk to? And she goes, well, you could talk to the floor supervisor for that floor that you were at. I said, then how do I talk to her? What's her number? She goes, no, I could direct you to there. So sure enough, the phone rings and she picks up. And I'd said three things, right? Because you had a Foley, which is the thing you pee through, because she had no sensation. You couldn't pee, you couldn't do nothing. It was just dead. Her whole intestines, there was nothing. So she had that. And she obviously couldn't go home with that. And so, yes, and then it was hurting or feeling some kind of way last night, right? She kept telling the nurses, this thing hurts, take it out. This thing hurts. I think I can pee on my own. Take it out. What'd they do?
They just would ignore me.
They'd ignore you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Once you feel it, it's because the numbness was going away.
Yeah. Once you feel it, it's because she's getting sensation back, So basically, in this hospital, I don't know if it's like that everywhere. Once you got COVID, man, they just, boom, they push you and ain't no nurses. You got nothing coming. And it's horrible because, anyways, I don't want to go into what I want you to talk about. So anyways, talk to this lady and I'm like, I got three things. I don't know if they're complaints. I don't know if they're questions. Maybe they're both. That's how I told her. I said, number one, my wife is up there and she's been telling the nurse that she wants this Foley thing out, that she can pee on her own, and it's feeling uncomfortable. This was last night, and she said it repeatedly overnight, and that thing needs to come out. Number two, I said, I'm picking my wife up today. So I don't know how you're going to do it. I don't know what's going to happen, because she's supposed to get 3 hours of physical therapy a day. She was about to go somewhere for 10 to 14 days to get physical therapy to regain her walking again. And you guys have her shoved in a COVID unit and nobody's even there, much less walking her or giving you exercises. I said, she went in there negative and somehow laying on a bed, not using a bathroom, not using anything. Somehow she contacts COVID. 9 days later, I said, she caught it from your hospital. So now you put her up in a room with somebody else that has COVID with their lungs full, coughing and coughing and coughing. And I said, so my wife, if you're saying she's positive, then let her be quarantined here at home because it ain't going to affect me. I've been with her every single day. I said, I've been there every single day that she's been in the hospital all day long. So it ain't going to affect me. If she's positive, then so am I. So I want to pick up my wife today. That way she can at least be able to be mobile and move around and maneuver. I said, and my third question is, I don't trust this COVID test. She has no symptoms, no nothing. I want you to take a second test. She goes, we don't do that. And I'm like, well, and she goes, as far as the Foley, she goes, we took that out. She goes, and she couldn't pee. I said, you did that on day 2. That's exactly the way I said it. I said, you did that on day 2 when she was still paralyzed. This is day 9. She's already used the bathroom, the other bathroom. I said, so she wants that thing out. How can you say that she isn't ready because she had her in a note. She goes, yeah, we have notes here that the nurses took it out and she couldn't pee. So they put it back. I said, yeah, that was on day 2. This is day 9, 7 days later. I said, she couldn't even lift her head up back then. And now she gets up and walks with the walker. She's pushing herself on a wheelchair. She goes, oh, let me write a note. She goes, matter of fact, the doctor's coming up and we have a meeting at 9 o'clock. It was like 8:50. She goes, I have a meeting. Every morning we have a meeting with all the patients. So let me write this down. I said, well, I want her discharged. I want to pick her up today. I said, there's no reason you need her in the COVID. She has no symptoms. And take that Foley thing out, and she can get up on her own now. So I want to pick up my wife. 10 minutes later, the doctor goes to see you.
Yeah.
And then the physical therapist signs you off. Yeah. You know, and like I said, later I want to...
They assign me a wheelchair here at home.
Yeah, they assign you a wheelchair and physical therapy here at the house, right?
Yeah, well, they're going to assign me a physical therapist after we're done with our quarantine, I believe.
Oh, it's after?
I believe so. I don't know. They're going to call me tomorrow, but they are going to drop off a wheelchair and all the things that I need. My
tomorrow. You know, Sister Gloria, who does the Spanish study, she had knee surgery a few months ago. Mm-hmm. So I picked up her walker. I picked up her shower chair. Is that what it's called? Mm-hmm. So you can shower and has a chair to sit down. I picked that up. Tomorrow, which is today for you guys, they're gonna bring a wheelchair and
a commode.
A little portable bathroom, you know. And the thing is, man, she's home. Yeah. She's home, and I understand. I don't want to be insensitive to people that your loved ones don't come home, but Sharon's home, you know. And honestly, my prayer was very public. You guys heard it yesterday. I'm just like, God, I don't want nothing. I just want you home. I mean, that's all I want, you know. And God is faithful, man. God is faithful. So, like, I don't even know what to do with myself right now because she's here.
You're so silly.
Why am I silly?
I love you.
I don't know what to do. You know. So we are quarantined. I don't trust that hospital. I don't trust that COVID test. So we came here and went to the place we do trust here. And all 4 of us got COVID tested. Now we're waiting for results. You know, so Sharon went and got COVID tested. I did. Abraham and Matthew. We have groceries. We're fully stocked. And we're just going to lock this thing down until we get these results. And then we'll, you know, act accordingly, you know, with that, you know. And it is what it is, you know. I mean, as far as us being here, we feel good. We feel great. Nobody feels sick. You have a little bit of phlegm, you know. That's another thing.
Because the air conditioner was hitting me right on my face.
Yeah, the air conditioner, like I told you guys, how she gets very sensitive to air condition, you know. And but there's a lot of things. Pastoring a church, we've had over 25, 30 people in the church that has had COVID over this course of a year. Yeah. You know, unfortunately, you know, it took the life of Ricardo, you know, but there has been probably almost 30 people. And so we've learned a lot along the way, learned a lot by people's symptoms, learned a lot by what they did, what they took, how they took care of themselves. So just to share with you, if something like that happens, don't sleep on your back. Keep your head elevated. If you can, lay sideways. Take Mucinex. Mucinex, that is the only thing. I've never seen nothing work like Mucinex, not Robitussin, not nothing. Mucinex causes any phlegm because you don't want it to be in the throat and go down to your lungs. Mucinex will cause you to cough and cough and cough till you cough it out. You want to cough that stuff out, you know. So, Mucinex, vitamin C, elderberry.
Yeah, elderberry.
Yeah, it's like a liquid vitamin, and
vitamins.
A lot of water, vitamins. Eat right, be strong. Don't be laying down. Be moving around. Sit up. Things like that. You know what I mean? So, we're here, man, and we're here together. You know, and you know, we're still in the middle of this thing, but we're not apart. You know, so, and it's weird because the verse I want to talk about, I feel like I've already been talking about the subject. I don't know what else to say after the verse, but You know, I do want to say that for the last 3 weeks, I've had really bad allergies. You know, because you guys can see if you go back even last week, and so I always have that phlegm,
Yeah.
and my eyes are itching and stuff. So by taking the Mucinex, it's forcing that stuff to make me cough it out because I don't want that stuff in my system. I don't care if it's from allergies or not. If this stuff comes out positive, the last thing I want, you know, is allergy symptoms, which causes stuffy sinuses. So, anyways, where's the verse? Oh, there it is. It's 1 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 9. It's real simple. God is faithful.
I love it.
God is faithful, by whom you were called into the fellowship of his Son, Jesus Christ, our Lord. God is faithful. You know, through all of this, you know, it sucks that Sharon had to go through this. You know, but here's the thing, right? Is I'm not glad she went through this. I'm not glad we went through this, because who is glad? Nobody's like, yay, I'm sick, or yay, I'm hospitalized, or yay, I'm going through a trial, or yay, I'm going through tribulation. Nobody does that. I'll tell you what I am glad about. I am glad that you were able to witness this, to live this along with us. And that's why I kept doing updates, because you guys mean a lot to us. You guys are part of us. And I know I'm speaking for you too.
Yes.
So it was very important, because you can't just fall off the face of the earth and just forget the people that are watching you.
Part of our lives, yeah.
You know, like, I guess if I could have been like completely, because I was consumed with you. I spent my whole days with you. I stopped everything to be sitting by you.
Yeah.
So I could have easily been like, oh man, forget the channel. That's like not even relevant right now. You know, and not even trip. And all of a sudden you guys would not hear nothing from us for these last 9 days, or even, can you imagine? And it's like, I can't imagine, but you know what? Unfortunately, I know people that would drop a whole group of people like nothing.
They just go MIA.
Yeah, they go MIA, and I'm just like, maybe you were never called then. Because this isn't a choice. God is faithful. He's faithful to me. He's faithful to you.
Yes.
So doesn't that mean we should have the attributes of God?
Yes.
Shouldn't that mean that since God is faithful to me, that we have that God is faithful to us, that we got to be faithful to you?
We should reflect him.
We should reflect him.
Yes.
I don't see a verse in the Bible that says God is shady. I don't see it.
He's flaky.
Oh yeah, God is flaky. I don't see that verse. So, in a sense then, we don't have a right. Because if we took it upon ourselves to pour into you, doesn't Jesus say, let your yes be yes and your no be no? Don't make no promises. If you're going to do it, then do it. Because Jesus says, I'm like that. If I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do something. You know, it's almost like, in a sense, doesn't the, you know, I've seen some nice comments where people say, oh man, you know, that's a good husband, or that's whatever. You know how people are saying that.
Isn't that what he should be?
Isn't that what I should be doing? Why should I get accolades for what I gave a vow to do?
Yes.
Through sickness and in health. Through richer and poor, till death do us part. I don't deserve accolades. I was just, you know, and that's what's sad, is that Spouses don't do that.
Yeah.
So then when somebody actually does what they vowed they would do in front of God and in front of a pastor and in front of a congregation, in front of the family and friends, now all of a sudden that looks like the guy did something when no, you just did what you're supposed to do. So same thing with ministry. If God is faithful to me, then I got to be faithful to you guys. And yeah, maybe I didn't do a full-blown relevant Bible talk, but I was giving you guys updates. I was letting you guys know what was happening. Because honestly, imagine if I didn't do that. I know some of you would be like, oh no, I get it, man. He's just going through it right now, and this and that, whatever. But come on, be real. In your heart of hearts, deep in your heart, even if you wouldn't have said that to us, it would have let you down. It would have made you feel some kind of way.
I would have felt like that.
Yeah, and as much as you say no, it wouldn't, I think it would have changed. It would have changed the dynamic that we have. And that's exactly what the enemy wanted to do. He wanted to destroy our relationship with you guys because this is effective. So I wasn't going to let the enemy do that, because God is faithful. Yes. So we have to be faithful.
That's right.
God is faithful to me when I'm out, down and out. So I have to be faithful to my wife when she's on a hospital bed and vice versa. I know for a fact that if it was me, she would have been there.
Yes.
I know for a fact. I don't even doubt that. Matter of fact, I don't know if you guys know this, but when we had a long distance relationship and she was in Southern California, I don't know how many miles that is, a lot of miles.
490 something.
490 something. I was here and we met through Facebook with mutual friends. So we started talking on the phone, talking on Facebook. And then you came down with Abraham during
it was Christmas to leave
Christmas
some cheesecakes.
to leave some cheesecakes with her son because that was important. Accountability needed to be there. Abraham was 12 or 11 at that time.
About 12. 11.
Yeah. You came for like a day or a day, a turnaround, right? So then you went back, and then I went with my son, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I went with my son to meet her pastors. And then the next time I saw you was to move you up here, right? That was the third time we seen each other. Mm-hmm. She moved up here with her son, found an apartment. No, you rented a bedroom.
From a gentleman,
yeah, from a gentleman that had a couple rooms for rent. Because there was a few people living there, huh?
Yeah.
In Tracy, I was living at my parents' with my son. So you were there for a few months, right? And then you found the place.
House in Stockton.
Yeah, she found it. This is why we ended up in Stockton, because she found a little house in Stockton, a little 2-bedroom that was a bedroom for her and a bedroom for her. For by that time you had Matthew now. So now she had both of her sons with her. Okay, so I'm trying to remember, what's my point here? Oh, okay, this is what happened though. Me and my cousin went down there to help her move because she was going to get a U-Haul. Right? And so we drive down to LA and we help her pack. And some of the brothers help that's from the church, right?
Yeah.
People that were
commanders,
Abraham's commanders from Royal Rangers. Royal Rangers are like Boy Scouts, but for Christians. So you got to think about this. This is our third time seeing each other in person. We drive the U-Haul back. And she was so thankful to me and Carlos that she took us we came all the way, came down the Grapevine, and you took us to a restaurant. Black Bear?
Black Bear restaurant.
This was pre-surgery for me, pre-bariatric weight loss surgery. So I had a stomach the size of a football. And man, I ate steak, I ate mashed potatoes, I ate all kinds of stuff. Appetizer. Well, what I didn't know was I had diverticulitis. Diverticulitis is these pockets that form in your large intestine. it had gotten so bad for some reason I didn't have pain. Most people, it builds up over years and years and years. They get pain, and I didn't know. And literally a foot of my large, you only have 6 feet of large intestine. One whole foot of my large intestine collapsed. I didn't know. So upon her moving here, was it 5 days later? 5 days later, I'm in the ER and they rushed me to San Francisco. We've only seen each other in person 3 times. We saw each other a couple times because I got really sick when she moved down. I mean, when we finally moved her in, those days, my large intestine collapsed. I'm full of that black bear and none of it could come out because the large intestine collapsed. And I didn't know, so I kept eating because I'm hungry, you know. It was all bad. All of a sudden I get rushed to San Francisco in the middle of the night, Sutter. So here's Sharon, brand new to Northern California, doesn't know anything, much less a huge metropolis area like San Francisco. San Francisco is a huge city that is so compacted. And all of a sudden, she finds herself at this hospital, and it's a 9-day stay for me. It was so bad that if that collapsed intestine would have erupted, I could have died. Yeah. And they literally cut my stomach this much. And they had to do what they call a resection, is they had to literally cut that large part out, that whole foot that was collapsed, and then reattach. So now I have 5 feet of large intestine. 9 days in the hospital. And there's Sharon. There's Sharon. Weren't even married yet. Nothing. Hardly knew each other in person. And there you were driving to San Francisco, you know.
I spent the night in the garage.
Yeah, you spent the night in the garage. They didn't let visitors, they made you leave, and
they didn't let me stay up there.
Yeah.
So I spent the night in the garage.
So then, after the 9 days, I went back to my mom's. My mom had to put a bed in the living room because I had that huge cut that had to heal. Then it got infected, remember? And I went back to the hospital. When was that? For like 2 days or 3 days? So she was there for me, you know. And after that, it took me almost a year to heal from that. I had to sleep in the living room of my parents for months.
You had to have it packed.
Yeah, for months, man. At first couple months, it was a bed, literally a bed right there in the living room. And then when I got better, they took the bed out, and I would sleep on the, what are those called? Those kind of couches?
Recliners. The
recliner, my dad's recliner, for more months. And our relationship started with me basically bedridden for almost up to a year. I mean, I'd walk around, but I was there for a long, long time. It was funny because I couldn't, because of the cut that was right down my waistline, I couldn't wear jeans. I couldn't wear slacks, remember? And it was funny because, you know, I would always send her my best pictures when we were talking. I'd send her a picture of me in a suit, you know, from church. She comes and I couldn't put pants on. I had to wear sweats because the waistband would like pinch where the cut was, you know. And she would joke around with me and be like, "Man, what happened to the guy in suits? You're always in sweats," you know. And it was a rough time, man. It was a long time of recovery. I was cycling for a couple years before that, and that I couldn't ride for a whole year. It would be painful to even sit on a bike. Remember, I tried every few months. I'd be like, I think I'm ready, and I would pedal, and it would just cause pain right in my stomach area. And I probably didn't ride for a little over a year, huh? You know, so that's what you do, man. You're there for each other. If you don't have a spouse, you're there for your kids. You're there for your friends. You're there for your sisters, your siblings, your brothers, your parents, you know. This is what we do. Why? Because God is faithful. And it's like we always end it there.
He's faithful in the little.
Yeah, he's faithful in the little. If God, so it's like this, everything God says, this is a good point to end this with. Everything the Bible says that God is, we're supposed to be a reflection of that. We don't just stop and be like, oh, thank you, Lord, for being faithful. He's like, I ain't saying this so you can give me accolades. I'm saying this because this is my persona, so you should be reflecting me. So because I'm faithful, are you faithful? Because I'm strong, are you strong? Because I am the light, you should be a light. And I just, we need to be faithful to each other, guys. We need to, it's a relationship, Our relationship with you guys, it's a relationship.
It is.
Because the fact that this happened to Sharon, you know how you guys are worried? You know why? Because it's a relationship. In the same way, when something, like Sister Christy, the horrible accident that she had on the quad runner.
Yeah.
She hurts and she's in pain. That hurts us. For those of you that don't know, people that are new, Christy was one of the very first viewers when we started this Relevant Bible Talk, or maybe the first. I don't know. If not, she's in the top 5 for sure. Maybe top 3, if not the first. Man, we are family. And we don't have to live next to each other for it to be family. And you guys have no idea how encouraging it is when we read your guys' comments,
Our whole life has changed.
Yeah, through this,
Our whole life has changed.
I was so surprised, I'll be honest with you, by the outpouring of so many, even people that are far. And I was surprised by some that I thought were close and didn't say a word. But you know what? It is what it is. Sometimes when you go through situations, it shows the true color of situations. It shows the true color of a relationship. It shows the true colors of a friendship that maybe you thought was a friendship, but it wasn't. And here's the good thing about that. Because now I know who our friends are. And instead of wasting time on something that isn't there, we use our time for those that are there.
Yeah.
Why? Because God is faithful.
Yes.
So we just want to thank you so much for all the prayers. There's no way that Sharon would be here right now on the couch tonight if it wasn't for your prayers. God heard. You guys bombarded the throne room of God. You guys wouldn't leave him alone. God's like, are you serious? What are all these people sending prayers up? Because the Bible says that prayers go up like a fragrance. And he's like, boom, God's like, that smells like RBT. That smells like house of rest. And it just, boom, it overtook. And God's like, I'm faithful. So now I have to act, And last night, it took everything in me to keep my composure. At the end of my video, when I said, Lord, I don't ask you for nothing. I don't ask you for nothing, God. I said, but you say that you give me the desires of my heart, and I want my wife home. And here she is, because God is faithful. So I'm going to end it with that. I do want Sharon to share her side of everything she experienced. I might not even say nothing on that Relevant Bible Talk, which is fine because you guys probably want to hear from her. But whenever she feels, maybe it's tomorrow, maybe it's the next day, whenever she feels, up to it. Maybe because once you have the wheelchair, it might be easier. We might situate a little different and just make it happen. But it's up to her, guys. But trust me, once she's ready, she wants to share her side of the story of all this and everything she's experienced. Pray also that these COVID tests, it's really put a a hindrance because we want to be responsible. I'm not going to be at the church building on Sunday, but thank God that Pastor Sal and Sister Monica, they're coming up anyways, and he was going to preach anyways. We're going to be watching online right here in the TV, and then we're going to wait for the results of this test. And if it's positive, then it's positive. And
we have till May 2nd.
Yeah, if it's positive, we have to quarantine till May 2nd. And God's going to be faithful, man. And we're going to do our part. We're going to take care of ourselves, take the vitamins we're supposed to, take the Mucinex, do everything that we need to do on our end because God gave us a brain. We're praying for God. We're trusting in God, but he gave us a brain to do things right, And if it comes out negative, then it's negative. It is what it is. But you know what? God is faithful.
He's faithful.
Yeah. So,
bye guys. Love you.
Yeah. Make sure you hit like, comment. We are setting up. I brought, I have all my, where's it at? I put it away. All my stuff to live stream. My camera. I brought one of the cameras. I have one of the cameras. I have everything I need to. You know how I used to carry stuff to the Bible study? I have that whole kit here. So I might set up some Zooms, some Zoom classes, do some lives because if it comes back that it's positive, then we want to be responsible, lock ourselves down here. We have a full stock of groceries. We're good, so we're just going to do some family bonding. But since we're not going to be out and about like we usually are, sometimes we don't stop. Maybe we'll have some chance to have some conversations through Zoom, and do some fellowship, do a study, do something. Yeah, do some lives. So look forward to that. We're going to be doing some little bit things different, than over the next few days. Like I brought that camera and everything. So that way, I'm just going to leave it set up right there. That way, whenever we want to go live or do a video or do a Zoom class or something, we're going to be having Zooms with some of the leaders at the church too. Just to keep contact.
Yes.
So, all right, guys. God bless you, and make sure you put some cinnamon in your coffee. Well, you probably drank your coffee already because it's already 37 minutes. But God bless you. See you tomorrow.
Bye, guys.